Good evening, folks. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates.
Folks, this is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates coming to you live from the crossroads of the West in Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 7:05 p.m.
Very clear on the backside of the sun, and then the earth is located at the sun hitting the earth is located around 3.5 miles southeast of the earth now. The solar wind is also
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else that's attending. Go figure. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody to our program tonight. As we've done before, we're not going to do tonight. There's so much going on. We want to bring it to you live. And that's exactly where we're going with this program. I first want to start with the tornadoes and weather throughout the central United States and eastern United States. With that, we're going over to Ryan Hall, y'all, and his program. Please stay tuned here. This is important information. Perryton, Texas got hit with a tornado with a lot of damage. There's still a lot of tornadoes in Oklahoma and going eastbound over to Arkansas, Louisiana, and other parts of the United States. So this is very important, okay? We believe it's very important to what's going on here. So please, let's join Ryan Hall, y'all, with his program.
Once again, the heat indices, the humidity, everything that's taken place today, despite the storms, is unusual. This kind of severe weather outbreak in this part of the world is not necessarily common in June. So, yeah, I don't know how else to put it, guys. This is just a little strange. But what isn't strange is the nature of these storms, okay? The tornadoes that we've seen today are doing damage. They're deadly. And, you know, a lot of people have lost their homes today. And the reason we are here is to try to help you stay ahead of that, okay? It's try to help you at least be prepared for it and know that it's coming. Because the number one thing that we've learned in doing this for a while is whenever we can get people prepared for something, even if it's a really bad thing, the less scared they are, and the less scared they are, the more likely they are to make the right decisions and then come out on the other side unscathed. You can survive a tornado as long as you're prepared for it. It is very possible. It's also very easy to just not be prepared for it and like disregard warnings and stuff like that. So we're trying to get in front of that and make sure that doesn't happen as much as possible. Looks like we might have another pretty concerning area popping up down here south of Waurika in Oklahoma. So we'll have to watch that very closely. This is similar to kind of like what we saw earlier near Lawton, but this is likely a little bit less of an issue, as it does look like it might be a little bit more outflow based. But storms today, you can't disregard any of them. You got to pay close attention to all of them. And that's what we're doing today. I believe Carly and Andy, our normal correspondents
warning has been issued
that work with us here, are both having internet troubles today. That's why you're not seeing them. But we do have the great Sam, Riley, and Kyle in the background helping relay information. Oh, Andy is here. Okay. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, and we are talking about potentially doing something with the Y'all Squad in Perryton already. We're just obviously assessing the damage and seeing what's going on out there right now. We have 6 warnings right now. We were up to 7 not too long ago. I'm going to remind everybody to please share the stream if you haven't already, to help us get this word out to more people. And then I'm going to go through each warning one by one. Okay. First of all, we do have some really interesting looking rotation out here on the border of Alabama and Florida near the coast. Brad Arnold is on it. There's no warning for this. However, there might be one soon. Okay.
I'm going to stop it there. I wanted to put this information on because Ryan Hall, y'all, is probably the best weather person that we could possibly find. I'm serious, guys. He's probably the best weather person that anyone could find to pull this information together. He has spotters out there. He has storm chasers out there. He has people helping him put out information that can save people's lives. Today, people, guess what? Homes of people were destroyed. Lives were on the line. Homes were destroyed. Livelihoods have been destroyed. That's why we put this out. We want everybody to know about it. Those of you that live in this area, this should be in the back of your minds. You should be running this in the back of this program so you can see both programs. That's how serious this is. Okay? Ryan is the best weatherman putting out this information, either from the central part of the United States, and I'm talking northern Michigan even, had a tornado today. This is how big it is. Okay? He has the latest information. So folks, please make sure you have Ryan Hall y'all as a specialist tuned in to YouTube. Okay? Subscribe to his channel. This is important. Let me show you something else. Over in Michigan, this was a tornado that flew over Michigan earlier today. Okay? Michigan is added to the list, as is Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Florida, and even Ohio. This is how serious it is. That's why I'm sharing Ryan's channel here with you. Okay, Ryan said to share it. That's exactly what we're doing. I want to make sure everybody is aware of his channel. People need to see this. This is important information. Nathan Hester's over here in the chat. As a storm chaser, I will tell you these storms are different nowadays, and Ron is right. Ryan Hall is great at what he does. Okay? Nathan just told you. I think this is very important. Richard Smith is here and was asking about tornadoes in Nova Scotia. I did not hear of anything there in Nova Scotia, Richard. Richard's on here in the chat saying, I've seen tornadoes trying to form here in Nova Scotia today with my eyes. That doesn't surprise me. Some tornadoes do not hit down. They don't hit the surface of the earth. However, they are spinning in the upper atmosphere. I have also seen that before. You can see them forming, little tiny specks in the sky, and it's swirling. I've seen it here. I've seen it east of here in Hickory, North Carolina. I've seen it in Utah. I've seen it in Colorado. I've seen it when I've been in Texas. I've seen it in Idaho. Folks, this is typical. In fact, I've seen it in California as well. No tornado hit in San Diego, but guess what? I've seen it. Everybody needs to be aware of it. Okay? Please be aware of this. When you live in this area that Ryan covers, he covers the entire United States. Please, folks, if you have a feeling that something is going on, go over and subscribe to Ryan Hall Y'all on YouTube. Like I said, I believe he's the best weather forecaster and weather reporter that there is. I don't really care too much for network weather anymore. Okay? Yes, sometimes you can get valid information if something's going on in a specific town. Sometimes. But Ryan covers it all. Okay? That's what I want to tell you here. Okay? I think this is very important. All right, something else that I found today that I want to share with you. And yes, I left a note for Geology Hub to tell him that we were coming on the air with it. And he's been here on the chat with us before. And I give Geology Hub all the credit for this video. He put it together. This is also very important. 8 different volcanoes have been erupting in Indonesia. Listen to this story.
Indonesia as a country for many years has contained more actively erupting volcanoes than any other nation. As of June 11th of 2023, this number was 7 volcanoes, which include the following: Mount Merapi and Mount Semeru on the island of Java, the island volcano of Krakatoa, the Ibu and Dukono volcanoes on Halmahera, Luwu Tolok on Lembata Island, and Karangetang on Sao Island. Then, on June 13th, an 8th volcano in the country began erupting, this time on the unusually shaped island of Sulawesi. The new eruption occurred at an interesting twin peak stratovolcano known as Lokon. I want to note that this name choice is somewhat unusual, as Lokon has not produced an eruption in recorded history, while Mount Empun to the north produced its last eruption in the 18th century. Thus, all other recent eruptions of this volcano have instead occurred at a 650-meter or 2,130-foot wide complex explosion crater partially carved into the edge of Mount Lokon's northern flank. Known as Tampaluan Crater, it, in the last 100 years, has consistently erupted an average of once every 4 years. This crater was also the site of the newest eruption, which began with a bang as an explosion of material originating on the crater floor occurred, causing a plume of ash to rise to a height of 470 meters or 1,542 feet above the crater rim edge. More smaller explosions occurred thereafter, but something was seemingly missing: lava, as the latest eruption was not magmatic but rather phreatic. It was triggered indirectly by magma or heated rock at depth, which caused intense heat to rise into a body of underlying groundwater. This groundwater eventually gained so much heat that it flashed to steam. Since the same massive steam takes up far more volume than the water it once was, it causes an immense amount of pressure to build. This pressure eventually causes rock to crack via a path of least resistance, which is almost always upwards, causing ash and volcanic gases to be expelled in a phreatic eruption. Intermittent, weaker phreatic explosions have been ongoing since the first one on June 13th, creating more several hundred-meter high ash plumes. As a result of the hazards associated with this volcanic activity, as it could produce additional explosions with little or no warning, a 1,500-meter exclusion zone was implemented around Tampaluan Crater in all directions. You might note that Tampaluan Crater is elongated to the north-northeast, seemingly aligning with 2 craters on Mount Lokon, a lava flow, and the summit of Mount Empung. I believe this to not be mere coincidence, but rather represents what once was or still is a dike body of magma which feeds the overall volcanic complex. This dike parallels a tectonic plate boundary to the east, which is why the Lokon volcano exists in the first place. This plate boundary is somewhat unusual, as the tectonic plate is moving towards the east and the west at the same time at different sections of it, which in the case of the island of Sulawesi collided with the Sunda plate. As a tectonic plate was subducted underneath the Sunda plate, parts of it melted and rose into the crust as magma, eventually erupting onto the surface and forming a chain of volcanoes. We do not know exactly how long this double-peak volcano has been erupting for, but I think it is safe to say that Mount Lokon is older than Mount Empung. The summit region of Lokon appears rather smoothed over, and with a lack of fresh-looking ash or lava flow deposits, this peak has probably not erupted, in my opinion, for more than 5,000 years. On the other hand, Mount Empun has a considerable number of young-looking, albeit forested lava flows on its slopes of a likely andesite to dacite composition. These viscous lava flows have traveled up to a distance of 4.1 kilometers away. In the last century, the only active vent, aka Tampaluan crater, has produced numerous small to moderately sized explosive eruptions, a select few of which required evacuations. However, these larger explosions were for the most part linked to lava dome growth related explosions, and since no lava dome is actively growing, it appears unlikely for now that any very large explosions will occur, just smaller ones in my opinion. This eruption of Tampaluan crater could eventually progress to a magmatic eruption, but clear-cut warning signs of this are not yet present. Thanks for watching. If you would like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below.
Folks, that was Geology Hub. This is serious. When we have 8 volcanoes in one area, in one region by themselves, that's a serious thing. Okay? We told you the other night about 21 volcanoes literally erupting all over the world. That's serious. Okay? That's real serious. And this is very typical of what we're seeing. Okay? This is not what we're used to seeing during our lives 30 and 40 and 50 years ago. The entire world is changing. Weather is changing. Volcanism is changing. We did not see these kind of eruptions 20 and 30 and 40 years ago. It was non-existent. Okay? Yes, there was volcanoes, or there were volcanoes erupting, but not like we're seeing them today. This is new. This is very new. Now, I want to report on something else. Earlier this afternoon, another earthquake. This time, it came out as a 7.0 earthquake over south of the Tongan Island. Excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. A 7.0 magnitude earthquake took place south of the Tongan Islands today. But it was increased to a 7.2. Then it was increased to a 7.4 magnitude earthquake. A 7.4 magnitude earthquake. Let me show you something here. Okay? I think this is very indicative of what we're talking about today. Where'd it go here? Okay, let me just pull this up really quick. I don't know why, but something disappeared from my program here, and I want to put it up for you. I think it's very important that you see what I've been seeing all day long. Okay? As you can see here, okay, this is a tsunami advisory. Actually, it's a non-advisory. As you can see in this advisory, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration put this out. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude. A preliminary magnitude of 7.4 occurred southeast of the Loyalty Islands at about 251 miles deep. Okay? 251 miles deep. That's a pretty darn deep earthquake. Okay? Based on all available data, there is no tsunami threat. There is no tsunami threat to American Samoa or anywhere else. American Samoa, the Loyalty Islands, and the Fiji Islands were probably the only real places, and possibly also Vanuatu down there in the South Pacific, that may have any issues with this earthquake. Okay? But there was no tsunami advisory at all. There is no tsunami threat to American Samoa from this earthquake or anywhere else. Okay? Which means all this was way down deep in the earth. Possibly as far down as the bottom or the lower part of the asthenosphere, where the plastic magma is. This was a big deal. Okay? This 7.4 was actually downgraded to what it is now, a 7.2. A 7.2 magnitude earthquake. Now, with that said, there's even more information than this. Okay? I'm going to turn now to the helioplots. Okay? This particular helioplot was obtained from the Solomon Islands, from the honoraria city of the Solomon Islands. Okay? This is kind of what we would expect when we would see a 7.4 earthquake. Okay? Why am I saying that? Look how far the lines go up off the graph. That's number one. Also look at the number of earthquakes that occurred. Each of these lines is an earthquake in and of itself. It was not just one earthquake. This was not just one earthquake. I picked this up because I believe it's important. This is the nearest place that we could pull up a helioplot from to show you the magnitude of this earthquake. The problem is this, though. Okay? I want to show you this. This may not be a 7.4. This may not even be a 7.2. Okay? I've talked about this before. Okay? The next place I am going with this is over to the Philippine Islands. Okay? Look at this same earthquake in the Philippine Islands. And I'm talking about the bottom data. The bottom data on this. The data at the top of this seismogram, or excuse me, this helioplot, that is another situation. That is a 6.2 magnitude earthquake that hit over in the Philippines, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But look where these lines are going with this particular quake, with the 7.2 earthquake that they have called us at. Okay? Look at the lines here. Okay? This shows fewer, actually, no it doesn't. This shows actually just as many earthquakes that hit here in the Tongan Islands. This hit in the Pacific Ocean. It was nowhere near the actual Tongan Islands. It was nowhere near the Loyalty Islands. It was nowhere near the Fiji Islands where anybody would have felt this. If anybody felt anything at all, they may have felt some rumbling beneath their feet because the ocean water absorbed the seismic waves. The ocean water may have absorbed most, if not all, of the seismic waves from this earthquake. This was a major earthquake. I want to make that very clear. This was at least a 7.0, if not their 7.2. But I'm having my doubts, and I'm going to share this with you because I have doubts. In the past, when they say it's a 7.0, 7.2, 7.4 earthquake, usually I'm saying it the other way around, that it may have been larger. In this case, I don't know. It looks like it was even smaller than what that 7.4 or even a 7.2. This may be just a 7.0. It may be even less than that. Okay? This is why I'm bringing it up. Okay? This shows both the earthquake down in the south part of Tonga in the Pacific, but it's also showing the 6.2 that hit over in the Philippines that I'm going to show you in a minute. So folks, keep this particular helioplot in mind with what I'm showing you. Okay? Now I'm going to go over to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay? I've got a dear friend over there in Albuquerque. Okay? Look what this is showing. Yes, we see the Tongan earthquake here. But now we are only seeing 4 earthquakes here. 4 earthquakes. What happened to those other earthquakes? That's what I want to know. What happened to those other earthquakes? This one is not showing that. It shows very little of the Philippine earthquake that I'm going to show you in a minute. It shows very little of it. Usually when we have a 6.2 earthquake, it's all over the place. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. This is Casey, Antarctica. They're showing one line going straight up. One single earthquake. Maybe 2. It might be 2. Okay? This is south of Tonga. Usually when we see a 7.0, 7.2, 7.4 earthquake, it's all over here. Literally all over the graph. That is not what we're seeing here. Okay? So now I've shown you the United States. I've also shown you Casey, Antarctica, and I've also shown you helioplot graphs from the local area. Okay? Now I'm going over here. This is Cathedral City, Missouri. Okay? It's showing both the Philippine earthquake to the top, and it's also showing the 7.0, 7.2, 7.4 earthquake, whatever it is. But even this graph here does not show a 7.4 earthquake. Maybe, just maybe, a 6. But not a 7.2, 7.0, or 7.4. Okay? Does everybody get this? Does everybody see what I'm saying here? I think this is very important. My buddy Don Patoka is one of our mods here, one of the best people, one of our best mods. They're all great. I love every one of our mods here very dearly. Very dear friends. Don Patoka says I don't have a crystal ball. I don't. The only thing I do have is this. It's a water bottle. It does not tell me fortunes. It does not tell me when a quake is going to happen. When it does tell me something, the water moves. When we have a tremor here. So far, that's all we've had here, and I'm grateful for that. But I can't tell fortunes. I can't tell anything. I'm not a fortune teller. If I have pertinent information that tells you something's going to happen, I will give it to you, and I have in the past been right on the money. People that have been here since the beginning of my program have seen that I've been right on the money many times. Not all, but many times. But look what's happening here. Cathedral Cave, Missouri. Nothing. Yes, we had a lot of shaking. And I'm going to show you some seismograms in the New Madrid Fault area tonight showing the shaking. And the shaking lasted over an hour. The major shaking lasted over an hour. It's still shaking. And if we go over through the night or out through the night, I will keep an eye on it and see where we're at. Because these helioplot graphs are going to tell us truly how strong these earthquakes are, including this one over in the Tongan waters. Okay? It surely doesn't say that Mindoro, Philippines had a 6.2. It doesn't say that at all, because we are not seeing that. We're not even seeing close to that. That's my issue with this quake. Okay? This is another quake, or excuse me, another graph coming from Australia, over near the epicenter, just west of the epicenter. What are we seeing here? Let me enlarge this for you. What are we seeing here? We're seeing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 earthquakes here. 9 supposedly 7.0, 7.2, 7.4 earthquakes. But folks, we're not seeing anywhere close to even being blacked out. Again, normally with the 7.4, 7.5, 8.0 earthquake, we see some blacking out. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing this. Yes, this could have been a 6.0, 6.5. But I don't believe it's a major quake. Again, this is coming from Australia, just west of the epicenter. Yes, it's about 1,000 miles west, but this is a good indicator of what we're dealing with here. Now let's take this all the way north to the Aleutian Islands. Now there are 3 other helioplots coming out of Alaska. This is probably one of the better ones that we can show you that has a lot to do with this quake. Okay? What are we actually seeing here? Maybe 3 earthquakes. Maybe 3 earthquakes here. Going off the chart here. I believe it may be only 2. I think it may be only 2. 2 in the left of center here. The third one on the far right, I believe, is part of the Philippine quake. But when it comes to the veracity of the magnitude of this quake, I cannot even fathom that this is true, being a 7.2 or a 7.4 or even a 7.0. It does not make sense. Like I said, in the coming hours and even by late tonight, midnight or later, we should know how strong this earthquake was. Without a doubt. Okay? Now that is over just south of Tonga. They said it's 175 miles southwest of Houma, H-O-U-M-A, Tonga. Okay? That's what they're telling us. I want to show you something else here. Hold on a second. This is where the 6.2 magnitude quake hit in Tonga. This hit on the southern side of Mindoro Island, Philippines. This is in central Philippines, guys. Central Philippines. But there's something else that you need to see here. Look where it's at. It's in this bay here. On the other slide, it showed to be nearly on land. Nearly on land. Folks, this was not near land. This was over towards the outer side of the bay here in the Philippines. Yes, this may have been a 6.2. It may have been a 6.2. But if I go back to that other heliplot that I showed you, it does not look like it's even a 6. Maybe something of a 5, 5.5, maybe. Maybe. But that's all. So in this case today, yes, we've had earthquakes. Yes, the USGS said we've had a major earthquake south of Tonga. While that is the facts, again, the facts don't support what they're saying. Yes, the facts show that USGS declared it to be a major earthquake. But the real facts don't stipulate that. My question to USGS, and I'm asking them to call into the show tonight, or to call me at some point tonight or tomorrow, and talk to me and tell me what actually happened here. Because the real facts don't support what they say happened. This case in the reverse destination. Usually it's been the other way around, hasn't it? And I've shown that to you. When I first heard about this quake, I had stepped away from the computer. I had gone to Walmart to pick some things up. I just needed 3 things. That's what I got. Then I left. I heard about this over while I was in Walmart earlier this afternoon. And I immediately notified Delilah about it. She could not even find anything. She could not find anything to support it. She could not find any tsunami data either. Again, they said that this was a 7.0, 7.2, 7.4 major earthquake. That it didn't show. It didn't show it. Even this 6.2 in the Philippines should have generated some kind of wave. Should have generated some kind of wave, no matter how small. It could have been 2 or 3 inches here in the Philippines. It didn't happen. The problem with the Tongan earthquake, okay, it didn't show up. It did not show up in the data. Period. Let me show you something else. The wave height indicator here, okay, and this is good information. The wave height indicator showed a disturbance in the water. You can plainly see it. But this was not even sufficient for a tsunami. The other issue is this, and I did not even pull the information, unfortunately. Number 1, no tsunami advisory. Number 2, the wave height indicator doesn't even show what we would see as a tsunami. So the experts saying that there was no tsunami indicated, they were spot on the money. A major earthquake like this would have generated something. The third thing that I forgot to put on here is there were no tsunami buoys activated. None. None. Let me take a moment and show you something. Okay? I hope this gives you information that you can see. Really see. Okay? Okay, just a second. Let me put this thing together so you can see it. Okay, I think this is important. That's why I'm taking the time to bring this to you. Okay, let me show you this. Oh, come on. This is it here. Look here, guys. This is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration buoy alert. There are no blinking buoy markers here. None. It's as if nothing happened. There are no buoy markers over by the Philippines. There's no buoy markers down here, normally around Tonga area, which would be the lower yellow buoy markers. The ones northwest of there in the Philippines should have been going as well, and they're not. Even with the 6.2, there would be some disturbance in the water. It's not shown here. This is very indicative that this may or may not have been a major quake. And even the earthquake in the Philippines have doubts. Okay? This is the first time I'm second guessing the USGS and bringing the magnitude down from what they said it was. This is a first in four plus years that I've been doing this. Okay? I don't normally do this. But folks, this is the real deal. The other large earthquake was over here in Chile. This was a 5.2 magnitude earthquake over here in central Chile today. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less. A 5.2 earthquake. It's incredible what we see here. It really is. Now, let me show you something else here. I'm going to bring up the USGS map here. Let me expand it out here. Okay? I'm going to expand it out down here. You see this earthquake down here in South America that I'm talking about? This is, they say this was west-northwest of Santa Cruz, Chile. Okay? I'll take that. You see an earthquake down here. It was also two earthquakes anyway. These happened yesterday down in the Kermadec Islands. A 5.0 and a 5.1 in the Kermadec Islands last night. Okay? Then we supposedly have this other one here as a 7.2 south of Tonga. We go further west over here to New Caledonia. This is a 4.8, 6.5 miles deep. Just over 10 kilometers deep. Okay? This one here was 164 miles deep. That's what they're saying now. When it first came out, it was over 220 miles deep. Okay? Then we go over here further west. This is what really gets me, and I pointed this out before. We only have one earthquake indicated over here in Indonesia. What happened to the other 8 volcanoes that have been erupting? When we have a volcano eruption, usually we have a 5.0 earthquake there, or near there. Okay? Let me point something out. Over here in Halmahera, Indonesia, we have 2 volcanoes. Both of them are going. Okay? We also have 2 other volcanoes over here in Java. Okay? We have Krakatau, we have Krakatau down here just south and west, or actually south and east of Sumatra here. Krakatau is also erupting. Okay? We have the new one, Lutau, over here. And it hasn't ever erupted before in written history. Okay? It's now erupting. 8 volcanoes, guys. And yet they have no earthquakes anywhere in this region except this one lone earthquake east of Java here. A 4.7. This is 21.8, 22 kilometers deep. Crazy. And then we only have this one earthquake over there. This is just south of Mindoro, Philippines. This makes it look like it hit the island here. It did not. This hit over at the mouth of the heart of the bay here. That's all it did. This may have been felt, but again, is it really a 6.0 earthquake or 6.2 earthquake like they said? Okay? Yes, there was an earthquake there, but how strong was it? Dana Walker's here in the chat says, I read somewhere that they were cleaning out dams in the Philippines. Could that explain anything? No, because dams are usually 1.2. The strongest dam I've ever seen is a 2.1, 2.2 minor earthquake. Okay? No, this is nowhere near there. This is very deep. This is 69.6 miles deep. There's no dams that deep. Okay? So no, that wasn't a dam. We're also showing this earthquake from yesterday, this 4.4 over off of Taiwan yesterday. Okay? Not a big deal there. They're showing one earthquake over here. Okay? You know, they say this is 117 miles south-southeast of Katsura, Japan. Folks, this is not there. They misidentified where this earthquake is. Okay? This is also in the Volcano Islands. The Volcano Islands area, or just north of the Volcano Islands. This is way southeast of mainland Japan. Way southeast of mainland Japan. We also have Sakurajima erupting over here as well. Right there. Sakurajima's right there. It's erupting in Japan as well. Okay? It's incredible what they're not telling us. Okay? They're showing this one earthquake over here in China, a 4.3. This one over here in the Gulf of Aden, it's a 4.9 5.0. A 4.9 5.0. Okay? We know where this came from, because we have seen 4.5s, 4.9s, 5.2, 5.4 earthquakes over here in the central Indian Ocean. And that's where this came from. And that makes sense. But it wasn't the only earthquake to hit. This is a 4.5 near Somalia, 89 miles north of Somalia. Okay? Then we go north up here. Folks, this is interesting. Up here into Iran, it's a 4.2, 9.7 miles deep. Okay? What happened up here in Turkey? Over 100 earthquakes today in Turkey, nothing shown. 100 earthquakes over here in Turkey and the Syrian district area, and nothing shown. There are not any other earthquakes in Turkey shown at all. Why not? Why not? They have one earthquake over here just southwest of Crete. This is just a 4.1. It also happens to be on the earthquake fault here, on the Anatolian fault that runs, actually, and I can back this out to show you, it runs all the way over here into Turkey, the Anatolian fault. So this earthquake over here just southwest of Greece, or actually Crete, Greece, yes, it's Greece, just southwest of Crete, came from Turkey, came down this fault to Turkey. They're also not showing any other earthquakes over here in the Mediterranean here, over near Turkey, not a one. In the Volcanoes Islands, they're not showing anything over here in Greece at all. There's about 20 earthquakes here in Greece. They're not showing any. There's 25 earthquakes over here in Italy that they're not showing. Why not? 3 or 4 more over here in the Alps, in the Italian, German, Swiss, and French Alps. Nothing showing. Why not? Inquiring minds want to know. Earthquakes over here in Spain and Portugal, not showing. Over here near the Strait of Gibraltar, not showing. The Azores here, over in the Canary Islands. Why are they not showing that? Okay? Over here in Iceland, why are they not showing that? In South America, there's 28 earthquakes hitting in South America. Why is that not being shown? Earthquakes all over the United States not being shown. Puerto Rico. Earthquakes hitting here in Puerto Rico. They show these. They show this one over in Eastern Dominican Republic here. That's just a 4.0 moderate quake. 97 miles deep here. These 2 lone earthquakes over here in southwestern Puerto Rico are aftershocks of an 8.0 and an 8.4 earthquake that hit here nearly 4 years ago. Man-made earthquakes 4 years ago. Major earthquakes caused by that one H word that we're not going to say here in the chat or on the air here. Okay? That great big H word. Okay? I misplaced my notes for that. You all know what I'm talking about. Most of you know what I'm talking about. This is crazy, guys. Okay? Man-made earthquakes. Who would have thunk? But it's happened before, it's going to happen again. Okay? Okay, Joanne, your comment in chat was deleted by one of our mods. You can't mention that movie. You can't mention it on the air, on the chat, or we could be taken off the air. Yes, that is pertinent, but sorry, we can't mention that. Okay, I'm sorry. I wish we could. I wish I could tell you what it's about. Linda Covington says, too quiet, 5.9 club. Oh yeah, but the thing is, guys, we don't even have some 0.9 earthquakes here, except for one 4.9, 5.0. That's it. Okay? Yes, they lie. We know that. We know that. I just don't. Sometimes it's beyond words. It really is. Okay? I've been covering these things for a long time, meaning these earthquakes. There's about 15 to 18 earthquakes in Central America. There's another 25 earthquakes in southern Mexico. Where are they? And why are they not being talked about? Inquiring minds want to know. And yes, I'm going to get to the pneumatic fault in just a few minutes. I'm going over here to Petrolia, California. This is now reduced to a 3.1 earthquake. This was a 3.2 earthquake here. Look where it was at, guys. It was on the San Andreas Fault, 11 miles offshore from Petrolia, California, on the northern San Andreas Fault. Isn't that interesting? Okay? The San Andreas Fault can have earthquakes up here as well. Fun, huh? Fun, huh? Over here off the coast of Ferndale, California. Both of these earthquakes may also be aftershocks of an 8.0 earthquake that hit off of Petrolia, California earlier this year. Okay? Yes, it happened. Or it was last year, I'm sorry. It was last year. An 8.0 earthquake last year. USGS said it was a 6.8. There's no way in heck it was a 6.8. Okay? Here we have another 2.6 aftershock. This is only 10.6 miles deep. Okay? It's craziness. It's truly craziness. Okay? Now over here. I'm going to only stop here and talk about the geysers a minute. There's a lot of information coming out now about the geysers. Okay? Yes, the geysers, earthquakes happen as a result of men, could be also women, I'm sorry, drilling into the crust of the earth and tapping into the upper magma chambers of this volcano here. It's called the Clear Lake Volcano. Every drill point here, every drill point has seismic energy that seeks that drill point out. When seismic energy finds those drill points, which are man-made earthquake faults, then we have earthquakes. And that's exactly what is happening here in the geysers. Typically in the geysers every day, there are about 25 to 30 earthquakes, or tremors in this case. And that's what we're seeing here in the geysers area. This is a geothermal power plant here. There are over 80 turbines here, powered by the steam from the Clear Lake volcano, to produce electricity for Pacific Gas and Electric and 4 other energy conglomerates, including Rocky Mountain Power, that supplies electricity to Utah and southern Idaho. Okay? That's what's happening here in the geysers area. Again, it's a geothermal complex where the turbines are powered by steam from the upper magma chambers of this volcano to produce electricity. And this is not the only geothermal power plant in the United States. There are several of those. One of them is found north of Reno. Another one's found over in the Coso volcano area, the Coso volcano range, the volcanic range there. Another one's down just south of the Salton Sea. Okay? There's about 16 different turbines down around the south of the Salton Sea in the Imperial Valley. Speaking of which, guess what? Let me show you something else here. Okay? Something you might be interested in. Yes, we had some earthquakes over here south of San Francisco, south of San Jose. This is Aromas, California, a tremor on the San Andreas Fault, a 1.7 tremor. This one is a 1.5 right next to it in Aromas. Further south, this is Ridgemark, California, with a 0.7 tiny microquake. Further south, this is the Pinnacles of California. Pinnacles, California. This is also an oil and gas producing area on the San Andreas Fault. We have a 1.2 tremor and another 2.0 tremor. Further south here, this is Coalinga, California, a 0.8 microquake here. Over here on the Oceana Fault, this is San Luis Obispo, 6 miles east of San Luis Obispo, or San Luis Obispo, a 1.5 tremor there. Okay? Then we continue down the San Andreas Fault here. This is Mountain Club, California, just east of the San Andreas Fault and east of the Garlock Fault. It's a 1.28, or 1.8, I'm sorry, 1.8 tremor here. North of that, east of the Garlock, is Bodefish, California. This is a volcanic range, folks. Bodefish, California is a huge volcanic range here. This is a 1.2 tremor there. Going north here, north and east, Wolford Estates, Wolford Heights, California. This is a 1.7 here. Then we drift up here to Cyril's Valley and Ridgecrest area. Cyril's Valley and Ridgecrest. This one is a 0.8 microquake, and right next to it, folks, this is a 1.3. Further north, this is also Cyril's Valley. It's a 0.8. Okay? But it's not the only quakes that are happening. They're still not reporting everything. Further north, this is Little Lake, California. This is 0.7. Now, I'm going to stay here in this area for just a moment because there's some other quakes that are happening, just so you know. Okay? We go north. This is Tom's Place, Mammoth Mountain, 1.1 tremor. This is a 1.6 tremor at Mammoth Mountain. Okay? I want to go a bit east. Okay? I want to go over here. This is Beatty, Nevada. Beatty, Nevada is a volcanic area. A volcanic area. That's why we have that. South of there, this is Enterprise, Nevada. Did you guys know that this is also part of the Walker Lane Fault? Yeah, folks, the Walker Lane Fault area. Further north, up here, is the Nevada border region of California. This is also on the Walker Lane Fault. Okay? Walker Lane, Nevada got hit today as well. Okay? Look at the tremors and the earthquakes over here in Southern California. Okay? Just here. Look at this. This is Sierra Madre, California. We reported on this yesterday. Over here on the coast, this is Marina del Rey. Remember me showing you some very minor tremors over there in Marina del Rey? This is one today. This is a 1.3 tremor at Marina del Rey. Unreal, guys. Unreal, they even put this out here. Maybe they put it out for me to tell you about. I don't know. But rarely do we ever see anything mentioned over here in Marina del Rey. Go figure. But I want to come back over here to the Anza Gap area. Yucaipa, California, 1.2 tremor here. Okay, that's not the only one in that area. We go further south over here. Look what we got here. This is Anza, California, part of the Anza Borrego Desert area. Anza Borrego State Park. Anza Borrego Desert State Park in San Diego's Northeast County. Okay? Look at all these earthquakes and tremors here. This is the Anza Gap again. This is also Idlewild here, also part of the Anza Gap. Then we come further south and west. Guess what, guys? This is on the Elsinore Fault here. This is a 0.8 microquake at Palomar Observatory in North San Diego County. Palomar Observatory in North San Diego County. Look at all these earthquakes here. Tremors. Tremors coming out of the Anza Borrego State Park. Okay? Look at this one. This is in Borrego Springs, part of the Anza Borrego Desert. Further south, this is part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. It's a 1.8 tremor. Then we go further south of there. This is in Ocotillo Wells. This is at the top of the Chocolate Mountains, separating San Diego County from the Imperial Valley. Just west of there is Pine Valley. Pine Valley. This is a wilderness area in the East County of San Diego. This is a 1.8 as well. Okay? We go over here to the Salton Sea. We don't see anything here. Why is that? Because they don't want us to know. Plain and simple. But over here in the town of Imperial here, look what we show today. Yesterday we showed some good sized earthquakes. 2.5s, 3.0s here in Imperial Township. This one's a 1.2 tremor. This one's a 1.5. This one's a 1.3. Really? This one's a 1.4. So we have 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. Wow. Wow. But I will bet you if I pulled the seismogram from the township of Imperial, there'd be a lot more than that. I've shown you that before. Okay? Again, they're not telling us. This whole area is rocking and rolling. The eastern side of the Salton Sea at Bombay Beach is getting hit with 3.5, possibly 4.0 earthquakes, and they're not reporting it. They're not reporting it. I find it appalling. Southwestern Texas, Toyah, Texas, still getting hit with minor earthquakes. Still getting hit with minor earthquakes. A 2.4 here, Toyah, Texas. 2.5s, 2.7s, and 1.8 around southwestern Texas. Okay? Now, I still need to use this map, and they've taken it down. Wonderful thing. I'm going to restore it in just a minute. Okay? You guys just give me a minute here. I'll restore it for all of us. We got it back. We got it back here. I want to show you this, guys. They're still not telling us what's going on. They're only showing us a couple quakes here in southwestern Texas. Interesting. Interesting. They're showing us one lousy earthquake up here in Oklahoma. Reno, Oklahoma. It's a 2.1 magnitude minor earthquake. 2.1 earthquake. There's a lot more than that. Okay? Let's go over here to the New Madrid. They're not showing anything here on the New Madrid. Nothing. Nothing south and nothing north. Let me tell you guys, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio got beat up today. Earthquakes. Earthquakes and tremors all over this area. They're not telling us about. When they get out of this, let me show you what's going on. Inquiring minds want to know, don't we? Oh, heck yes. Heck yes. We gotta know. We have to know. We have to know. Folks, this is Catfish Pond. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Look what's happened here this afternoon. Okay? Just after 12, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 12:36 this afternoon. Folks, this was a 1.8 tremor. A 1.8 tremor. Look at all the rest of this tremor activity. For the most part, it's just minor tremors. The biggest tremor was that 1.8 here. And then this blue one down here to the bottom right here. Okay? This is after 2:41, 2:42 this afternoon. Again, this was probably a 1.7, 1.8 tremor. But you see the tremor build up on either side? And then when the tremor diffused itself and dissipated, look how long it was. It took almost a full minute and a half to diffuse itself. Isn't that interesting? Then we had some other minor tremors after that throughout this afternoon. Okay? That's in Arkansas. Well, guess what, folks? There's more. There's more. Remember us talking about Needham, Arkansas, west of Jonesboro, Arkansas? Folks, this seismogram comes from Needham, Arkansas this morning. Look at this. Okay? This is wild. This is wild. Look at all these tremors here. Mostly tremors all day long, all morning long, except I've got to put some exceptions in here. Okay? Just after 8:40 a.m. this morning, all of a sudden we get a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. A minor 2.8, 2.9 earthquake on the blue line there. Okay? Then we come down to this green line on the right. 8:59 a.m. this morning. Okay? It starts off as a tremor, but it builds into a 2.5 earthquake. Builds into a 2.5 earthquake. Okay? This is Needham, Arkansas, just west of Jonesboro. Okay? Jonesboro is literally right on the western side of the New Madrid Fault. This is west of there. Okay? Let's go look also in Arkansas at the Arkansas Folk Center in northern Arkansas. Look at this. Nothing happened almost all morning long until later this morning. Later this morning, just after 9 a.m. On this black line, this is 9:12 a.m. Okay? Again, we had some tremors. It built into a 2.5 earthquake here. 2.5. Then we drop down here. Okay? This starts about 10:47 a.m. this morning on the green line. That is a 2.6, 2.7 minor earthquake. And you can see these others here as well. Over to the right, you can see two more earthquakes that are probably the same magnitude, 2.7, maybe 2.8. And prior to that, on the 1030 line, which is over on the left-hand side, going here to the right, this is about 10:46 a.m. this morning. You see some tremors, don't you? First a tremor, then another one about a minute and a half later, 1.5 tremor. Then another one after that, a 1.4 tremor. And then what do we have after that? On this black line after 11 o'clock this morning. Okay? This is about 11:11 a.m. this morning. This, folks, is a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Okay? Then we drop down to the red line after that, below that. Over here on the left-hand side, this is 11:16 a.m. this morning, almost 11:17. Again, we have a 1.5 magnitude tremor. We come over here to the right, and that tremors build up to a minor earthquake again. 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. And again to the right a minute and a half later. Another one, this time probably just possibly a 2.0 earthquake. And after that, another earthquake just after 11:30, 11:36 this morning, 11:32 this morning. Okay? That just for kickers here at the Ozark Folk Center. Wait till you see what I have to show you now. Okay? This afternoon. Look at this. Even though we did not have as many tremors as we had earlier this morning here, look what we do have. Okay? just after 12:45, probably just about 12:49 a.m. this afternoon, we have a tremor. Then after 1:16 this afternoon, we have another tremor, 1.5 tremors. Then after that, at 2:14 p.m. this afternoon, all of a sudden we have a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake. Then after 5:45 this afternoon, we have another 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Then after that, at 6:31 p.m. this evening, all of a sudden we have another 2.5 earthquake. Ozark Folk Center, Arkansas. That's just for starters in Arkansas. Just for starters in Arkansas. How about Marktree, Arkansas? Now this is south of Jonesboro. Look at this. Folks, we've seen earthquakes like this before. Look how long these earthquakes are lasting. Up at the top we have some tremors, don't we? On the green line there. This is after, let me just double check the time here. This is after 12:30 on the green line. After 12:30 this morning. Look how long that tremor activity lasted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes long before it totally dissipated. That's one heck of a tremor, and I believe it may have added up to a 2.0 earthquake, maybe two of those in the center of that seismic swarm there. Look at how long these earthquakes and tremors are lasting. Okay? The next one I want to point out, and this is very indicative of what we're seeing here. Okay? This is after 2:30 a.m. this morning. Okay? This is 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes. This is 2:34 this morning. The tremors start. And they're just very tiny tremors. A couple minutes later, they begin to be bigger tremors, 1.2, 1.3 tremors. About a minute later, it's 1.3, 1.4 tremors, and back down and back and forth. And after that, we have 1.5 tremors lasting about 45 seconds. Then it dissipates a little bit, and then it picks up to 1.6, 1.7, dissipates and builds up again to 1.8. Then after that, it kicks into full gear. At least a 2.7 magnitude earthquake, minor earthquake. Then it picks up after that. Then we get into at least a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. But look at the bottom and the top of this seismic signal. They've been cut off, just like the other ones in the past. This may have been as big as 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes. These were felt. These were felt in Marktree, Arkansas. That's a pretty powerful earthquake. Look how long it lasted. From start to finish. 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes of tremors. 4 minutes of tremors. Then we have earthquakes lasting 1, 2, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. 2.8 to 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes lasting 3 minutes. That's an awful lot of shaking, guys. This is an awful lot of shaking. Okay? No matter how you hang it. no matter how they want to explain this. That is an awful lot of shaking. Then after 3:30 we have another quake. This one is probably a 2.9 earthquake, start to finish. 2 minutes of shaking here. We continue here. Let me zoom out here just a little bit. Look at all these earthquakes and tremors here. Now, I'm coming down here to 9:40 this morning on this red line. 9:40 a.m. this morning on this red line. 9:41. Look at these earthquakes here. This was over 3.5 earthquake. These were not cut off. This looks to be over a 3.5 earthquake. Yes, we have some seismic activity at 8:44 this morning. Look at that. I'm sorry, not at 8:34, 8:20 this morning. Okay, there is some seismic activity there. But this activity after 9:40 this morning, those are good sized earthquakes. Amy Martin is asking, is that a graph depth? No, it's not. These are actually earthquake signals, seismic signals. Has nothing to do with depth here. This is the magnitude of the earthquakes here. Okay? Felt in Mark Tree, Arkansas. That's this morning. Okay? This afternoon it died down to nothing. Died down to just minor tremors at all. Period. Nothing more. Okay? Truman, Arkansas, south of there is here. Look at this. These are not as strong, not even close to being strong. Okay? Let me reduce this in size so you can see this. Up at the top we have nothing but tremors. Okay? Then after 2:20 a.m. this morning, all of a sudden we have tremors turning into 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. Minor earthquakes lasting, folks, a minute and a half, close to 2 minutes long. That includes the tremors after those main earthquakes hit. Okay, look at that. Look at all these other tremors and earthquakes here. Look down here at the bottom after 11, I want to say 11, what is it, 11:46 a.m. this morning. Again, this is at least a 2.8 earthquake, minor earthquake, and it lasts nearly 45 seconds. Okay? Still a lot of earthquakes here in Truman, Arkansas. Okay? This is Truman, Arkansas this afternoon. Yes, it's not as much activity. Yes, there are a bunch of tremors here. After 3 p.m. this afternoon, just after 3:02 this afternoon, there was a 2.8 magnitude earthquake here. Not recorded on USGS. This is a seismogram showing it happened. None of these earthquakes are even on USGS. Why not? Because they're not covering it. They're not covering it. Rarely do we ever see earthquakes or tremors even marked here by the USGS. When they do put them here, we're surprised. Sometimes at New Madrid, Missouri, sometimes Marston, Missouri, sometimes Ridgely, Tennessee. Tremors, but they never, almost never, show earthquakes, and these are actual earthquakes. Okay, Truman, Arkansas. Then we go south from there to Tyronza, Arkansas. Look at this. Okay, for the most part, there's a bunch of tremors here, a ton of tremors. Then, folks, we get into 2.0, 2.5, 2.7 magnitude earthquakes. Down here at the bottom here on the right hand side on the black line here. This is after 11:14 a.m. this morning. Actually 11:13 a.m. this morning. This, folks, is a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake, but prior to that, it's a 2.6 earthquake, building into at least a 3.0. Okay? Then you can look off to the side. You faintly see a triangle there going out to the right. Those are secondary waves of this earthquake. This secondary wave lasts over a minute. Then it goes into a body wave after that. This may have been larger than a 3.0. Just saying. Just saying, guys. That's still a lot of earthquakes over there in Arkansas. I want to tell you about Little Rock, Arkansas. I did not show it on today's program, but Little Rock, Arkansas had its share of tremors today. Just minor tremors, but tremors none the least. Little Rock, Arkansas is picking up. Usually there's nothing shown in Little Rock at all. I know it's getting late. We're already after 8:30, so I'm going to speed this thing up. Let's go over to New Harmony, Indiana. Look at this, guys. This is this afternoon. Nothing much is shown this morning. They may have doctored the seismograph. Nothing much is showing. Look how it starts off this afternoon at 12 noon on the top black line. Nothing but tremors. Isn't that interesting? Then on the red line below that, it starts off at 12:15, meaning 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, we have at least a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Several of them. 4 or 5 2.7, 2.8 earthquakes. Then it comes down to 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes. Then tremors after that. And those tremors last for 3.5 minutes. Then all of a sudden, we have close to a 3.0 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. And it's not just one, it's 2 or 3. Then after that, it dies down for about 20 seconds and starts back up. This time, it's a 2.5. Okay, look at that. Earthquakes here. New Harmony, Indiana. On the bottom black line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 p.m. Just after 5:02 p.m. Okay, we have some 2.0 minor earthquakes. Tremors and 2.0 minor earthquakes. And after that, nothing but tremors all the way across here after 5 p.m. This afternoon, Indiana, folks. Indiana. Let's show you Illinois. Fairfield, Illinois. Look at this, guys. This is this morning. Let me reduce this in size a little bit so you can look at the whole day, whole morning. Look at this. From start to finish, midnight is the top black line here. For the first hour and a half, we have nothing. Just microquakes. Every once in a while, a 1.1, 1.2 tremor, that's it. Then after 1:30, the tremors really begin. But again, it's nothing over 1.3, but look how long it lasts again. The tremor starts out as a 1.1, 1.2 over here on the left, then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes long until it totally dissipates. Okay? Where have we seen those kind of tremors and earthquakes before? Okay? Look at all these tremors here. I don't believe any of these are 2.0 earthquakes. There could possibly be 2, but I don't believe this. New Harmony. I'm sorry, this is not New Harmony. I'm sorry, this is Fairfield, Illinois. Okay, Fairfield, Illinois. This is Fairfield, Illinois this afternoon. Now here, folks, it's different. Here, folks, it's different. Up at the top line here, the top line, for the first 2 or 3 minutes, all we have is tremors. Then all of a sudden it kicks into gear. Then we have a 2.0, 2.3 magnitude earthquake. Then it calms down to tremors again, and 2 minutes later we have another 1.5, 1.6 tremor. And more tremors after that. Okay? Then for the next 45 minutes to an hour, we have nothing but tremors. After 1 o'clock this afternoon, what happens? This is the 7.2 earthquake that hit in Tonga. Look at all the activity here. Yes, you see minor earthquakes here amongst all the wavy lines here that are the Tongan earthquake. Okay? All the VLF waves here that show the Tongan earthquake. You can still see the tremors all over this seismogram. Okay? Seismic activity didn't stop here. It continued. Illinois is getting hit. Illinois is the northernmost part of the New Madrid Fault. Stronghurst, Illinois. Look at this. It was fairly quiet here in Stronghurst, Illinois. All we had was some minor tremors until after 7 a.m. Just very tiny tremors until after 7 a.m. 7:02 a.m. comes and we still have some tremors, don't we? Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get, and I believe both of these are 3.0 earthquakes. One, we don't see the bottom of it for whatever reason, but it reaches up to that same line as the one next to it to the right, a 3.0 earthquake. And look at the other tremors here. Okay? Who would have thunk? I did not expect to see this in Stronghurst, Illinois. Okay? One of the northernmost points covering the New Madrid Fault. And folks, it doesn't stop. Let's look at Evansville, Indiana. This is the University of Indiana in Evansville. Okay? Look at the tremors here. It starts off very lightly this morning with microquakes. And every once in a while, a tiny tremor. Then the tremors build and dissipate again to microquakes, and every once in a while, some tremors. Then after 3 a.m., then the tremors get a little bit larger and they get a lot longer, lasting long periods of time, up to 15 minutes at a time. Then, after that, later this morning, these are not just lasting 15 minutes. They're lasting 30 and 45 and 60 minutes long and longer. These earthquake tremors down here at the bottom of this seismogram here, all morning long. All morning long. From about 6 a.m. onward, we had tons of tremors, guys, and sometimes the tremors got a little bit larger. Okay? Evansville, Indiana. Again, it's part of the northern part of the New Madrid Fault. Okay? Then let's go east. I just love showing you this. This is Peebles, Ohio. Peebles, Ohio. I want to show you this. Look at this morning's earthquake in Peebles, Ohio. Look at that. I have never seen a bigger earthquake like this in Ohio ever. We've seen some tremors along the Lake Erie area, but here, no, we've never seen an earthquake this large. This may have been as large as a 4.0 moderate earthquake. This is not a 3. This is a 4.0 moderate earthquake in Peebles, Ohio. A felt earthquake. It's not on the USGS. Why not? This is a moderate earthquake in Ohio. Okay? Why are they not showing it? Nadine Susie says, wow, in Ohio, wow. Oh yeah, this is no joke, guys. This is the northern New Madrid Fault. Let me quickly go down to Missouri and show you a few earthquakes in Missouri. This may get your heart rolling. Okay? Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Cape Girardeau, Missouri. This was today, this afternoon. Look at this. Again, this afternoon you're seeing the 7.2 earthquake in Tonga. But look before and after that. These are tremors in Cape Girardeau. Okay? Cape Girardeau's feeling sick from having these tremors there in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. That's not all, folks. How about this afternoon in East Prairie, Missouri? Look at this. Look at this. We have some tremors, yes. Guess what happened after 2 p.m. today? I want to say this is 2:15 this afternoon. I'm sorry, no it's not. This is 2:11 this afternoon. Folks, this is either a 2.93.0 earthquake. Either a 2.93.0 earthquake. And tremors before and after that quake. But folks, what happens after 3:34 this afternoon here? This was at least 2 or 3 3.0 earthquakes here. And just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to downgrade it 2.93.0 here. And the foreshock tremors and aftershock tremors. Okay? A minute and a half of tremors before that earthquake and a minute after that. Okay? East Prairie, Missouri. It gets better, guys. How about Guam, Missouri? Look at this. Starts out with microquakes at midnight, then at 1 a.m. the fun starts. This time it's tremors, not earthquakes. Just after 1 a.m. we have 3 minutes of tremors. Then it dissipates into maybe 1.0s, and then dissipates after that. It starts picking up just about 1:14 this morning, and then it dies out for over an hour. Then sometime about 2:04 a.m. this morning, then the tremors kick up again. And just after 3:24 this morning, we have more tremors. And after 4 a.m. we have more tremors. And 5 a.m. 5:45 a.m. more tremors. 6:45 a.m. They continue. They continue and this one is 6:47 a.m. this morning. Okay, we saw an earthquake just prior to that at 5:46 a.m. Here's another one here. This one's just a 2.6, actually 2.5 earthquake. Then we have tremors again, more tremors. Then we have more earthquakes. Okay, this happens to be 11:10, 9:30 this morning. 9:30 this morning, we have 2.0 earthquake. Then it drops down to tremors again. Then another 2.4 earthquake after that. 2 minutes later, 2:32. Just about 10 seconds later, we get just a 1.5, 1.6 tremor. Woohoo! 4 minutes later, all heck breaks loose. Again, this is at least a 3.0 earthquake, and there's more than that. These are multiple earthquakes. 3 in a row, back to back. And then a fraction of a second later, another one hits. 4 3.0 earthquakes in a row. Then about 5 minutes later, we have another 2.6, 2.8 magnitude minor earthquake. And then tremors after that until we get to just before, I'm saying just before 11:43 a.m. this morning. We got a bunch of tremors, don't we? Just before 11:44. All of a sudden we have a 2.8 earthquake again. And that seismic sequence starts 2 minutes before that with tremors. Then after that 2.8, it continues for how long? Okay? That continues for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes after that. Okay? After 11:45. Okay? Up to about 11:53. But actually 11:51. And then it dies off and then tremors build again. Gosh golly gee. Guam, Ohio. I'm sorry, Guam, Missouri. Guam, Missouri, guys. That's quite a show, isn't it? I think I showed you Mark Tree, Arkansas. How about Portageville, Missouri? I'm going to end with this one. Portageville, Missouri. Mostly microquake activity, tiny tremors. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, after 1:23 a.m. this morning. Okay? All of a sudden we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes, and a bunch of them. Not just one or two, but a bunch. And the tops and the bottoms are cut off. Fancy that. This earthquake sequence could be 3.0 easily. And down below that, okay, this is after 5:15 a.m. this morning. I'm going to go back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? This is 5:24 a.m. this morning. Again, the tops and the bottoms of this sequence have been cut off. This is at least a 3.5, 4.0 earthquake. Okay? It's gone over a 3.0 earthquake. A 3.5, 4.0 earthquake. Portageville, Missouri. And you can see the other earthquake sequences here below that, after that. Okay? 8:30 a.m. You can see the earthquake sequences here. 2.5, 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. Okay? This is 8. The next one on that black line is after 8 a.m. Okay? This is about 8:10, 8:11 a.m. this morning. Again, folks, this is at least a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. And they're back to back to back, getting hammered. People may be feeling this if they're very sensitive here. I believe this was just below 3.0 small. Okay? Look at all these earthquakes and tremors here. I haven't seen this here in Portageville, Missouri before. Not ever. Yes, we've had a lot of earthquakes and tremors, but nothing like this. These are long-lasting, consistent earthquakes. And they're getting up into the upper magnitudes of earthquakes. Not large, but small to moderate earthquakes. Okay? Yes, I am going to be monitoring this tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, until next week. And this may become one of our lead stories on Monday, unless all heck breaks loose on the New Madrid Fault. And that's a possibility. That's a possibility, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me show you something else that you probably need to see. This is Ridgely, Tennessee. East of the New Madrid. Try to ignore what happened over in Tonga here. You're seeing the VOF waves from the Tonga quake. But prior to that happening, we're having earthquakes here in Ridgely, Tennessee. The USGS is not reporting. Nothing. At about 12:53 a.m. or p.m. I'm sorry. This is this afternoon. 12:53 p.m. Probably 3.0 earthquake. Probably at least a 3.0 earthquake, and that lasted nearly 45 seconds. That's serious, guys. And then the Tonga earthquake took over. Okay? That's pretty serious. Now I'm going to stop over in South Carolina real quick. I want you to see what we saw in South Carolina today. Okay? This happens to be nothing much during the early morning hours, but later this morning we started having some tremors, and then an earthquake happened just after 10:32 a.m. this morning. You can see on the blue line here, 10:32 a.m. this morning, there was a 3.4 magnitude earthquake. A 3.4 magnitude earthquake. We haven't seen this elsewhere here in South Carolina. Okay? This is Blacksburg, South Carolina. King Mountain, Blacksburg, South Carolina. This is also a volcano. Blacksburg, South Carolina is a volcano. Is this volcanic? I don't know. I think this is tectonic. I think this is the Atlantic Ridge hitting the North American continent, causing this. Yes, we have some 2.0 earthquakes. Down at the bottom here, after probably 11:40 a.m. this morning. 11:39, 11:40 a.m. this morning, we have another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. So now we have some 3.0 earthquakes here in Georgia. I'm sorry, Georgia, South Carolina, guys. This is South Carolina. Tectonic, probably. Volcanic, maybe. Maybe. Okay? That's what happened, guys. I wish I had time, I'd show you more. But that's a story. That's a story. That's how it starts. Little bit by little bit, and it builds. And it builds big time. I don't have the time to talk to you about Hawaii. There's earthquakes building in Hawaii, around Kilauea and the Helena Slump. I will show you that tomorrow. Earthquakes building around Kilauea and over around the Helena Slump. Minor tremors and minor earthquakes at Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea. Story tomorrow. Same time, same bat station. Folks, I'm glad to have been with you tonight. I'm very glad that we were able to do this. We will be back here tomorrow night, same time, same station. And most of this tomorrow night will become emergency preparedness unless we have something major break out. But we will be talking about emergency preparedness tomorrow night. Please be here. Invite your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, your relatives of all kinds, the people you work with, and even the social media contacts you have. Invite them to come look at this channel. Invite them to look at tonight. People in the New Madrid Fault need to know what is going on. The New Madrid Fault is building, guys. It's building up to a major earthquake. Slowly but surely building up to a major earthquake. I showed you that. People in the New Madrid Fault need to be under an advisement of what's going on. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Folks, tonight I want to leave you with a thought. Again, this comes from the scriptures. The ends of the earth shall inquire after thy name, and fools shall have thee in derision, and hell shall raise against thee, while the pure in heart, and the wise and the noble, and the virtuous shall seek counsel, and authority, and blessings constantly from under thy hand. And thy people shall never be turned against thee by the testimony of traitors. Thou shalt be had in honor, and for a small moment, and thy voice shall be more terrible in the midst of thine enemies than the first fierce lions. Because of thy righteousness, and thy God shall stand by thee forever and ever. Take that, the bad guys. Take that. And we're seeing more and more politics forming in. The President of the United States is a traitor. The President of the United States, Joseph Biden, is a traitor to his country, and is taking millions from Ukraine, and yet he's shipping millions of dollars of our money and our equipment over there. Go figure. The FBI is lying about it and saying they do not have recordings. They're lying about it. Okay? That's a fact. The FBI has 17 minutes of recordings of bribe money paid to Joe and Hunter Biden. And yes, Congress will get to the bottom of it. And yes, FBI agents are going to fall, just like the cowardly lion FBI agents a few years ago. They're all going to come tumbling down. More later. I love all of you guys. Please know that. I love every one of you. Please invite your friends and everybody to see this program. Let's build this channel even further than we have. We have over 1,320 people that have subscribed as family members of the Emergency Management Associates. Let's grow that. Let's grow it to 1,400, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 again soon. God bless all of you. Watch the weather, guys. The weather in the central part of the country going east is horrible. It's dangerous. Watch the weather. Watch Ryan Hall y'all. Okay? I showed you a few minutes of his program. This is necessary, guys. Our lives depend on it. Our lives depend on it. Until tomorrow, guys, I hope you have a good night and better tomorrow. If anything else happens, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information gets to us. Until then, guys, have a great night. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.